Hello. Hopefully you are enjoying this beautiful Monday. For a lot of you, it is the first day the kids being back at school after Easter holidays. So I am super duper excited for both those reasons, but also because it is day one of our free bootcamp training. So this bootcamp training is amazing. Actually, well, it's just going to be 3 days. We've turned it into a massive 2-week event, and we've absolutely filled it jam-packed with so many amazing free trainings. We've got masterclasses, we've got workshops, we've got guest speakers, we've got case studies. We have got so much going on in the next 2 weeks. But before I get into that, thank you for hopping on. Let me know who you are, where you are, if you can, by commenting, liking, sharing, do whatever you need to do. My mission over the next 2 weeks is to get as many people as possible started on their journey to sharing these amazing meditation practices, mind-body practices, sharing yoga, whatever it is, spiritual practice, because it's absolutely what the world needs right now. There has never been more need for this kind of work. So I am super excited to share my tips, my advice, my experience, my knowledge with you all today. But the more eyes we can get on these lives, the better. So if you know a friend that could be a meditation teacher or a yoga teacher, whatever it is, just share this with them for me, or like, comment. You know what to do. For those of you that don't know me, I should start here. My name is Charlotte. I am the founder of my amazing company, Exhale. We are the UK's first mind-body class to combine modern chart music with movement, with breath work, and with blissful meditation. We're basically making meditation modern. We're making it fun, we're making it easy. And we've been really privileged to be able to work with massive corporate companies like Google, like ITV. We've taught in celebrities' homes, we've been filmed for TV, we have been at festivals, we've sold out at trade shows, at festivals, and now we have an amazing team of women working alongside us, sharing these classes with the world. So we know how to move from meditator to meditation mentor. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. So we're going to start our 2-week bootcamp with a 3-day challenge. And today is going to be like a checklist. One of the biggest questions that I get asked is, am I ready to get teaching? So that's what I'm going to address today. There are some steps that you are going to need to take, and I'm going to make it super easy and make sure that as many of you as possible are ready to get out there and start sharing. Whilst you are jumping on, if you want to let me know if you already teach meditation, if you're an Exhale instructor, what your experience is, what you want to get out of this challenge. I'm getting really excited, but it's hurting my neck. So last week, unfortunately, I was in a car accident. So I've actually got a little bit of whiplash. So we've had to change the program of events a little bit, because part of what we do at Exhale is we use yoga stretches, just to ease the tension, and lots of rhythmic movement to ease the tension, the torsion out of your body. Obviously that means stretching your head, your neck, your back. I'm not able to do that at the moment. So we've had to change things up a little bit, hence the move to a 2-week experience, if you like. So we will get you into Exhale classes. We will do that for you, but it might not be me leading the class. And at the moment, I have to be really careful. So if you see me getting too excited and shaking my head everywhere, please do tell me to calm down, because already I can feel it pinching a little bit. So I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible, A, for that reason, but also because it's such a beautiful day and I want you to get back outside and enjoying it. So Anne-Marie says hello, and Lisa says hello. Welcome. I know that these two ladies are already in training to become Exhale instructors, but this is still going to be really powerful for you, because we're looking at making sure that you're in the right mindset to be able to go out and start teaching. So this is an amazing training for anybody who is just feeling the call, just a little bit like, you know what, I would really like to share my love of meditation with the world. I'd really like to integrate it maybe into a business I've already got, or maybe you want to start and you want this to be your entire business like it is mine. And a lot of the Exhale instructors that we have working alongside us, this is all that they do. So this is for everybody. You can either, if you're already doing it, it's going to help you boost your mindset so you can get more clients more quickly, more easily without it being a struggle. Or if you've not trained yet, this is going to make sure that you are taking the right steps to make sure that you get there as quickly as possible. So the biggest question that I get asked, actually, when it comes to, I get so many people messaging me about, when is it the right time for me to become a meditation mentor or a meditation teacher, whatever you want to call it, meditation guide? When is it the right time for you to move from just being passionate about meditation, just when is it the right time? Do you have to wait for years? And for a long time, I put off starting my business, or moving my business, I should say, because I did have another business before, moving my business into focusing solely on mind, body and meditation practices. I put it off for a long time because I had this idea in my head that I had to have meditated for X amount of years before I could start to share this practice with other people. I also had it in my head that I maybe needed to move to Tibet and go on silent retreat for a month. I had all of these conditions that I'd placed upon myself. And actually, what started to happen really was that my clients were asking me for this. They were like, you've got a gift, you're good at this, please, can you? And what I was doing was I was an antenatal teacher. So I was working with women when they were pregnant and postnatally as well, so when they just had their babies. And after they'd had their babies and they'd moved on and their babies were a little bit older and they couldn't come to my baby classes anymore, they were saying to me, how can we cope without you? Like, you help us feel so relaxed, you help us feel so calm, you help me feel so connected to my body. After, when you're pregnant, you go through so many changes with your body. And they really, really struggled with their sleep, with their sense of relaxation, with their sense of who they were. And this is something that I'm so passionate about. Meditation for me is all about taking you back to that place where you reconnect with who you really are beneath all those layers that society, of expectations, of rules, of judgments that society places upon us. And that's what meditation helps you do. It helps you get to that really quiet place where you can hear the voice of your own soul and you can reconnect to all of the power and the wisdom that lies within you. So long story short was basically I got coerced into starting my meditation business maybe before I felt ready. So the big question is, do you have to wait for years? I am living proof that you don't have to. My biggest thing that I want you to understand and want you to hold close to your heart is that you do not need to be a guru. It is okay for you to just simply contribute to the conversation. If you think about, so that's all we're asking you to do, is just contribute to the conversation. No one is asking you or expecting you to be Deepak. No one's expecting you to go out and change the world necessarily in that massive way that he has. Not right now anyway. But what I want you to really know as well is actually that just the ripple effect of just holding space for one person, just guiding somebody, one soul, through meditation practice, the ripple effects of that actually do echo throughout the world. What's amazing is that when we bring and we share this gift with people, they walk out of your session, they go back into their homes and they're different with their family, they're different with their children, they're different with their partners, and then they're different when they go to work. And then those people that they interact with in all of those places, their family, their co-workers, their friends, their children, they're different. They're touched by you. They're touched by your calm, your grace, your wisdom. And it's just a ripple effect that just spreads on and on and on and on and on. So you can make a massive impact, but you don't need to be this big guru status teacher. Just contribute to the conversation. One of the biggest things, again, that I want you to understand is that actually your ability to teach is based upon your ability to make this practice make sense in a modern world. One of the biggest problems that we have with meditation, and we've done so much research as a brand around this, is that people don't understand it. People don't understand all the woo-woo stuff. People don't understand all of the analogies, the traditional analogies, and the way that meditation used to be taught predominantly doesn't necessarily suit the average Joe on the street. So it's all about you finding ways to put this into context to help people understand what you understand. And so it doesn't take years. What we have to make sure, the caveat to this is that you train with a reputable meditation teacher training company like ourselves, but it doesn't have to be us. We're accredited. We really take pride in making sure that everything we put out there with our courses is of an amazing specialist, high quality standard, and we make sure that we're in line with all the latest techniques, all the latest science. We love brain science, we love learning about physiology, all of that stuff, but it doesn't have to necessarily be that you train with us. Make sure that you've done your due diligence, so you've completed a training course. Make sure that you have a mentor. This is so important. So many meditation teacher training courses, they kind of set you up, they train you, and then they leave you out in the world. We absolutely do not do that. And the reason for that is because as you go on this journey, there will be situations that come up that you've maybe not dealt with before. And we're going to have a look at the steps that you need to take before you're ready, so that you've come across most of those situations or issues that might arise as part of your meditation teaching. But there will still be the potential that something is going to come up that you're not really sure about. And the same for me, even now, even in my capacity as a meditation teacher trainer, there are still things that come up that I need to consult my mentor for. And actually, that is how we are really passionate about honouring the ancient practice of student teacher. That relationship is so powerful and so important. And whilst at the moment we're having to teach online and we're having to change and adapt and grow and make things more modernized, we still honor that practice of having somebody who's one step ahead of you. And that allows you to be exactly where you are, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience, sharing your light from where you are in your journey, knowing that you are held and supported by somebody who is just one step beyond you. And what's really interesting to know is actually I was a teacher, and before I started my antenatal business, I was a teacher before then. And one of the things that we always used to look for when we were recruiting other people, other teachers to work on our team in our department, was, are they at least one grade more qualified? So if you wanted to teach, I don't know, GCSE, you had to at least be A-level qualified. And it's the same with this, it's the same with anything else. And what is important to remember is that your starting point right now, where you are, could outshine another's finish point. So you are doing yourself a disservice. That heaviness, that sense of unfulfillment, that sense of feeling a little bit lost, is because you're not sharing your light. And so I get so frustrated about this. So many people are like, I'll just wait until I've done another training course. I'll just wait until I've done another year's experience. And yes, experience is valid and helpful. And we are always committed to continually training, continually developing our skills and keeping ourselves on that path of learning. Like, we never get off that. But you're allowed and able to introduce people to this practice. And as you're right now, and as you progress, they will progress. And that is, again, how it's always been and how it's meant to be. It's not like you reach this. Nobody's going to come down with a, like a lightning bolt from above and say, now is the time for you to begin. You just make a commitment to service. You cannot do any harm if you are fully supported in the ways that I've just said with a mentor. If you've done your training, you have to commit to a training course. I had people say to me, if I do this 3-day challenge, does that mean that I'm qualified to go out and teach meditation? Absolutely not. But what it does, this 3-day challenge and the events and activities and everything that's going on over the next 2 weeks, it's all about you getting the steps in place to make this a viable business, to make sure that your mindset is in the right place, to make sure that you are taking the right steps and that you're ready to train if you've not trained already. So it's all about making sure that you are allowing yourself to take those steps and you're not putting these barriers in place that don't necessarily need to be there. Oh, Laura's here and Marie's here. Hello, thank you for joining me. So what do I need to do then? So if I could be ready to teach right now without having to have moved to Tibet or Bali or wherever the in place is, without having to have gone on silent retreat for years, without having to, commit to a life of being a monk in the hills, whatever it is. And all of those things, if you want to do that, are really powerful. So really, really powerful about it. I'm not dissing these ancient practices, so to speak, but I am saying that actually, if that is not the way that you want to do it, or if that is not the way that feels accessible and available to you, then there are other options for you. As I said right at the beginning, this is a time where the world needs us to step forwards. If you're feeling that call, please do honor your heart, please do honor your soul, and remember that there are different trainings for different people. And that, again, is something that is really powerful to remember as you're moving forwards when you start to attract and work with clients. Meditation and mind-body practice and spiritual practice is for everyone. But you're not going to be everybody's teacher. There are people that will not choose to work with me, and I'm okay with that. It's took me a while at the beginning of my business journey really to remember that there are so many people in the world, and actually my light, my wisdom, my own language, my own energy, my own unique gifted experiences that I've been through make me right for a lot of people, but not for everybody. And also my experience level, where I'm at, the way that I teach, the techniques that I take you through aren't for everybody. But there are more than enough people in the world that enjoy what I do, and it's about sitting with that and go, okay, I'm just gonna allow those that are, the more unique I am, the more me I am, the more those clients are able to come forward and work with me, and the more that the others that don't want to work with me are able to make that decision and walk away to find their perfect instructor. So what do I need to put in place then? If it's not years of experience, if it's not moving to Tibet, all those things I've already said, it's essentially, I want you to be in a position where you've had enough personal meditation experience that you have had what we would call issues come up, not necessarily failures, because there's never a bad meditation. Meditation gives you what you want, not necessarily what you need, because there's no specific destination every time you have a meditation, and every journey is going to be different. There's never going to be a time where you're able to say, actually, that was a rubbish meditation, I didn't do very well there. You can't look at it like that. But what I really want you to do is to have had enough experience, enough personal experience, so that you've had issues come up. And the main issues that we want you to have experienced, really, and you can still do this whilst you're in training. This doesn't always have to happen before you book the training course. This is just through, in whatever time period it is, before you go out and teach people, real souls, real human beings out in the world. So it can happen in your training course, or it can happen before. We really want you to have had enough of a daily practice, or enough of a practice, so that you've experienced these 5 most common problems that we know clients come to us with. We want you to have been able to experience that, so that when your client experiences it, you can put it into context for them. You can use relatable analogies that make sense for them in this real world. They're not living up in the mountains of Tibet. They're right here on the end of your street. So the gift and the beauty that you are giving people is that you are real, that you are human, that you've had these lived experiences, that you have failed, if you want to call it that, even though that's something that I wouldn't necessarily say is true. Can you make it make sense? Okay, so to give an example of a kind of analogy that I would use. So we talk a lot in our classes about how if you are meditating and you experience thought, which is absolutely 100% normal and part of the process, what we want to imagine is that your mind almost is like your laptop with loads of tabs open. Each time you have a thought, you're opening another tab. All we need to do to return to that place of stillness is not engage with it, not keep clicking on the page, not keep clicking on all the different tabs of your web browsers. Just close each one down in turn. That's all we need to do. So it's about you making things make sense, rather than talking about clouds like some more traditional practices might do. Rather than just saying, just surrender, just release the thought, whatever it is, let's try and make it make sense based on what works for you. If you know that it has worked for you, then 100, 1 million, 1 whatever billion% it is going to work with somebody else. And it's about honoring that. You know, I can't remember the exact quote, but a lot of the time I hear people, coaches in particular, meditation teachers in particular, lots of Excel instructors talk about this. You know, one day the things that you go through are going to be the guidebook for somebody else. And that's absolutely true with meditation as well. We're just wanting you to experience these 5 hindrances, which I'm going to go on to in a minute, and just put them into context, make them make sense, put them into the real world. That's what people need. The thing that puts people off meditation is that they really can't make sense of it in context, in real life, in this modern day Western world where we're busy, going, doing. So what are these 5 issues that we really would like you to have experienced before you go out and teach? So this can happen on your training course or beforehand, depending on your experience level, where you're at the moment. But the first one is about pleasure. So people, when they meditate, they get really excited and move towards the pleasurable parts of meditation. So those of you that meditate on a regular basis will know that it's quite common for you to experience lights, colours, and sensations through your body. And what is really common is people will be deep in meditation, they'll have settled their mind down. We know that thought's part of the process, that's okay, but they get really stuck on the particular thought when they notice the lights, for example, like, oh yes, I'm doing it, I'm meditating, the lights are there, for example, and then they start investigating the lights, and that's then pulling them away out of a settled mind. We've started to react and get engaged with our thoughts when our only job during meditation is simply to return to where we're resting our awareness. So that might be your meditation guide's voice, it might be a settling sound, it might be a mantra, whatever it is, it might be your breath, it might be your body. And what happens every time is that people experience these gorgeous sensations. I always describe meditations like a touch of heaven. It feels blissful. But the moment that we start to be celebrating, I'm there, I'm meditating, I'm doing it, is the moment that our mind starts to become less settled, and we lose that ability to be non-reactive, to practice as an observer, so to just watch our thoughts. We start to become engaged with what's happening. So we want you to really have investigated and had that experience yourself, so that you can then put that into context. You can talk to people about it. It doesn't seem like it's some mysterious thing to you when a client brings it up. You've experienced it and you know how to fix that problem. So, my mum's saying hello. Hi, Mum. It's like a mother telling hi, Mum. So that's the first one. So it's making sure that you've had some experience of those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, this feels beautiful. Hi, Sarah. It doesn't matter that you're late, you're here now. That's amazing. Thank you for joining me. The second hindrance is aversion. So what do we mean by that? So we know that meditation is a healing practice. That means that sometimes, for the most part, it's a really enjoyable practice, as I've said before. But sometimes what happens is that thoughts, feelings, emotions that we've not quite yet processed, memories, for example, come up as part of the meditation practice. And one of the things that's really common is for people to either judge the feelings and thoughts and memories that come up, or to try and move away from them, to try and put them back in their box. And actually, what we really want to encourage people to do is to, on their own timeline of healing, decide when it's ready, when they're ready. You know, as meditation instructors, our job is never to say, you have to investigate those thoughts, those feelings. You can put them down if you want to, but we want to really, if they are ready to start to investigate what's gone on for them or how they're feeling. Hi, Chloe. Thank you for joining me. If you are able to, oh, Chloe's just thrown me off now. She hasn't really. It's about us understanding and observing what's happening to us without judgment. The moment that we start to judge what we're feeling, the moment we start to label it as something that's positive or negative, we're starting to shift. It's okay, Chloe. We're starting to shift from that position as observer. We've started to become engaged and involved in our thoughts. And what the whole aim of meditation, as I've already said before, is our only job in meditation is simply to return our awareness to where we want it to rest. So when we're thinking about, are we ready to begin teaching, we want you to have been able to, either during your training, when you're on your training course, or before that point, we want you to be able to understand what it feels like to kind of have this sense of trying to avoid or trying to put down, or being too engaged with really sticky thoughts. And we want you to have started to develop, and your training course will absolutely equip you with the skills and the training to be able to explain to people what they should do. But we want you to have had your own experience and started to explore what works for you as an individual. And what's really amazing is, and I see this with all our instructors right across the country, regardless of experience level, regardless of their personalities, whatever it is, however they're teaching, what always comes through really strongly is that their clients are almost a reflection of them. So whatever works for the instructor does tend to work for the client that's sat in front of them. And that's because, like I say, there's this ancient process of student finding the teacher, and it's the right teacher for them. You know, as long as you are honest and open and real about who you are, and you allow yourself to sit in that space of just being vulnerable and open and human, then the right clients will join you, and they will 9 times out of 10 work in a really similar way to you. So the third hindrance, and I don't know if Marie is still on, but if Marie is still on, this was one of her biggest things when she first came to us as a meditator, and she was starting her meditation training. One of the biggest things that she learned to be able to do, and she had no clue how to do it before she started her training, but one of the biggest things that she learned to do was how to stop herself falling asleep. And quite often she will still fall asleep, and that's absolutely fine. As it's, like I say, meditation gives you what you need, not necessarily what you want. And sometimes we do just need a really deeply healing, restful sleep. But one of the biggest things is so common. So many meditators, so many of our clients, our students, whatever you want to call it, come to us and they're falling asleep in their meditation classes or in their own meditation practice. Again, that's something that you really need to have experienced yourself, but also something that I really want you to kind of work out and explore what works for you. It could be something really simple. The fourth hindrance, or that people experience really commonly, that you're going to need to have some sort of understanding on how to work with, or how to steer people through, guide people through it, is this sense of restlessness. And that can be restlessness in the body and in the mind. So Marie's saying sleep, so I think she potentially still does it. Am I right? Still maybe falling asleep. And I think that's a really good example, you know, that we are human beings, and the more human we are, the more real we are, the more we experience these problems for ourselves, the more able we are actually to be able to support other people through it. Because I think one of the biggest issues that the spiritual community faces is that people put people like us or perceive us to be guru status, and that's part of the problem. So when I am thinking about learning a new practice, when I'm thinking about transforming, when I'm thinking about growing and changing my life, one of the biggest things that I need to have in place in my mind is that this is possible. I need to be able to look at you and not think that you are this impossibly perfect, like holier than thou kind of guru status teacher on a pedestal. I need to be able to look at you and go, yes, she is a little bit further along in her journey than me, but she is still real. If she can do it, so can I. That's the biggest thing that I'm trying to change with this industry, is that, yes, experience wisdom is beautiful, but also we need to just meet our clients where they are. So if we are still experiencing issues, if we're still living them, we're still journeying through them, we're still figuring it out, that is okay, So Marie's saying, yes, she's still falling asleep, so try to cut the time down as well. Perfect. So that's her solution, or one of her solutions. I know Marie has loads of tricks up her sleeve and in her bag, but that's one of the things that she's recommending to her clients. But really, it is just about you understanding that where you are is okay. Sarah says, so true. I struggled for a long time with trying to sync my meditation to my breath. It took a while to let go of it, and I found the rhythm just comes naturally now. Perfect. Exactly. And Sarah is also a meditation teacher as well. And that is something that we happen. It's not on my list of five most common things, but it is something that we do see quite a lot because of the particular type of meditation technique that we teach, where people do sync or try to or fall into this pattern of syncing their breathing rhythm with the mantra or the settling sound that we use. And actually what happens is, if you just allow yourself just to settle and relax enough, as Sarah's saying, it will come naturally. And that's the correct way to do it. So it's all about exploring and experimenting. And as I say, meeting your clients exactly where you are, with the support of a mentor, with the support of a training course, with the support of a training team. And the last big problem, so there's 5 major problems that your clients are going to come to you with, and you're going to need to know the answers to, or be working through the answers, or have an analogy, be able to put it into context, be able to empathize, be able to meet them where they are with, is doubt. So one of the biggest things that people say to me is, or that they had a thought halfway through the meditation, am I doing it? Am I doing this right? This can't be that easy. It doesn't feel right. And they start to doubt the whole process. They doubt themselves. And obviously that takes them down this big rabbit hole of thought. I remember our only job during meditation is to return to where we want our awareness to rest. So if we're going down that rabbit hole, we're nowhere near returning our awareness back to where we want it to be. So I could spend another hour at least on each of those things. That's not what this is about. My point was that we want you to have had enough experience, either pre-training or during your training. And one of the ways that we ensure that you do that, as from our perspective as a training provider, and there'll be lots of other ways to do it depending on who you train with, but one of the ways that we do it is we ask you to take part in a minimum 21-day meditation challenge, where we prompt you with music, with affirmations, and with a different meditation technique for you to try each day. Sometimes it's the same thing, sometimes it's different, so you can deepen your practice. And we want you to keep a meditation journal. We want you to keep a record. We want you to reflect. I'm really passionate about meditation teachers having a really reflective practice, and as I've said already a million times, using their own experience to support others. Yes, we're going to base our responses. Yes, we're going to base our teaching on ancient wisdom, ancient practice, because it bloody works. But we're also going to put it into context, use our experience, our language, our energy to make it make sense in the real world. So that's how we do it. We expect you to have a daily practice for that minimum time period, and that kind of breaks the ice. You know, it takes 21 days to create and form a habit. So we just kickstart you if you haven't got one already, but even if you have, it's one of our requirements. So you want to be looking for a training provider which has some form of accountability. It's going to make sure there's so many options where you can just be like, okay, I'll just click buy, off you go. We're not like that. You know, run for the hills if you see a training provider that's just going to certify you. You know, just make sure that you are finding a training provider which provides you opportunities to have these experiences, to have gone through these 5 different things. So let's have a look. Comments. Yeah, it's Sarah. That's fine. It's live now, but it'll be in the group. So I know that you're in our Facebook group, so you're absolutely fine to come back later and watch on the replay. And also I'll tag you in the replay when it goes up as well. So the next point, I've got so many things written down here, but I am conscious I've been on 35 minutes already and my neck is really sore. If you missed that at the beginning, I've got whiplash, so I'm not able to get too excited. So any of the Excel instructions that are on, if you see me nodding around my head as I get really excited, please tell me to stop. So we want you to experiment with your meditation practice. There are so many different ways to meditate, and that's really important when you are starting out on your journey to becoming a meditation teacher, is that you are able to explore and find what works for you. So Chloe's saying, oh yeah, Sarah's saying, come to me for a massage on Reiki. Oh my gosh, yes, please. That is exactly, you know what, I had that thought. I thought, you know what, that's what I really need is some Reiki, 100%. Chloe's saying, that's what I love about Exhale, the ongoing continuing support from you and the team. Oh, you're not just left to get on with it. Yeah, absolutely, 100%, because you're on a journey and things are going to come up. It could be a year down the road, it could be 2 years down the road, but you need that system in place. You need that mentorship. You need somebody to, and that's all we do, is that we walk alongside you so that you feel safe to hold others in that space of meditation. So in terms of experimenting and exploring your practice to find what works for you, one of the biggest things that I found was the activation of the third eye. So when I started to incorporate that into my practice, that is when I started to really go deep and really started to have more blissful meditation experiences. So, oh, Sarah's saying she's in Somerset. Oh, I wish I was in Somerset. Yeah, I'm up in Warrington. Oh, thank you. Yes, I am open to, and honestly, my neck is so bad. To the point where I was going to cancel this, and I thought, you know what, no, because I can still do it. I just need to take lots of rest in between. So yeah, activating your third eye is really, really powerful. Again, I could do a whole workshop on how to do this, but one of the things that I found really, really changed things for me in terms of the activation of my third eye, was the intention to do it, but also when I close my eyes now, what I do is I roll my eye to meditate. I roll my eyes back and up, and I almost allow my eyes to rest here at this point in between my brow. So in between my eyebrows, my eyes are rolled up and back, and almost so I'm looking at that point there. And that just helps to change, creates physiological changes in your body and in your brain. So in particular, we're seeing you be shifting then just from doing that into alpha brainwaves. So alpha beta, where we spend most of our days. So when we're in that thinking, doing, hopefully now you're learning, you're engaging, you're being beta brainwaves, or predominantly beta brainwaves. What we want to see happen, and what will happen if you do that technique, is that you move into alpha brainwaves, which are associated with rest, relaxation, but also with clarity, with creativity, and obviously that can be traced, you know, like we can, if you put the sensors on someone's brain, you can see those changing brain waves, but also we know that one of the reasons why you're getting that sense of clarity and creativity is because you've activated your third eye. So that's one of the ways for you to deepen your experience really quickly, really easily. It also helps you hold you in that space of meditation as well. So one of the things that I'd really want to be doing as I start my meditation teacher training, or as I'm preparing to do that, is activating my third eye. That's where our sense of self comes from. That's where our wisdom comes from. That's where we reconnect to who we really are underneath all these layers of fear, of worry, of doubt that society and our human experiences place upon us. This is about us going back to who we really are. We come here, I'll talk more about this tomorrow, but we come to this earth pure, feeling pure, whole, communicating our needs, sharing love and giving love, receiving love. And it's only, there's only two fears that we come with, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Everything else is learned. So all of this wisdom and all of this confidence, all of this courage, all of this creativity is kind of masked by our human experience. And what that does, what activating your third eye does, is allow you to get back to that place more easily, and wisdom can come through you. So the last thing I want to say before I go, because I've been on 40 minutes now, which is amazing, but I am starting to feel a bit sore. So the biggest thing that I want you to do, and this is something that we spend a lot of time on our training courses. So if this is not covered by your training provider, this is something that you'd want to be learning alongside. And it's about learning to hold space for others. Really being a meditation guide, being a meditation teacher, instructor, whatever you want to call it, is just about holding space and walking alongside somebody as they journey through into meditation. This is about you creating a safe space where they are able to drop all of these defenses. Beta brainwaves, for example, it's a defense mechanism. We keep ourselves busy, we keep our minds doing and learning and rather than being, as a way of protecting ourselves from feeling all of the stuff that we have to go through. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it does to me. This is about us learning and teaching people how to feel safe with themselves, and it starts with you. So it's all about, we spend such a long time in our training courses about how we prep our minds and our bodies before we hold a class for other people. And this is why, because your energy matters. So there's wherever there's an electrical current, there is an electromagnetic field. There's an electrical current that runs through our hearts. That means there's also an electromagnetic field associated with our hearts, which can actually reach out at least 3 foot. They've recorded it for at least 3 foot outside somebody's body. But we know, actually, there is research now which says it can reach far, far, far beyond that. On that electromagnetic field, we're able to, it's almost like a pattern of our breath work, of our breathing pattern, our breathing rhythm, and of our brain waves, of our energy, essentially. And what we're able to see is that if I'm sat over here and my breathing rate is slow and calm and associated with a breathing rhythm that indicates relaxation within the body, I am then able to send that out. I don't have to do anything. It just happens automatically to another individual that is in my presence. And that is just amazing. My brain waves can influence yours. My heart rate, my breathing rate can be influenced by you, and vice versa. So when you're holding a space, it's about us learning how to get our bodies and our minds into coherence so that we are able to positively influence those that we are teaching and those that we are sitting with. So that's one of the biggest things, is please, please, please learn how to hold space for others. Learn how to prepare your energy. Learn how to prepare your body in order to be able to hold space for other people without interfering with them. Yes, so it was Sarah, wasn't it? Same as me sending you Reiki. Exactly, perfect. I love, all of this stuff. There's so much power that we have within us that we just don't utilize. So it's really, really important that you're on that page, that you understand it starts with you. And one of the last things I just want to say before I go is one of my favorite quotes ever is, "In my defenselessness, my safety lies." That is a quote from A Course in Miracles. And what I take that to mean is that when we are, in order to be Totally. And Chloe's saying it's mind-blowing. It is. I love this stuff as well. It is about us understanding our true potential, I suppose. But yeah, that quote talks about, in my defenselessness my safety lies. For me, that means in order to be truly relaxed, in order to truly let go and just be present in your body with your soul, we need to allow ourselves to drop our defenses. So like I said before, we go through life and it's almost like we put these layers upon our hearts. Meditation and healing for me, and what exhale does for people in particular, because we use that beautiful combination of breath work and movement on top of the meditation, is that it allows you to peel back these layers of fear, of doubt, of worry, of mistrust, of fear, and just come back to love, come back to wholeness, come back to courage, confidence, creativity. And all of these layers that we've put upon ourselves because of our human experience are defenses. It's almost like we're cocooning ourselves, protecting ourselves so we don't get hurt anymore. So in my defenselessness, my safety lies. So true relaxation comes when you're able to start to let go, remove these barriers, remove the veils that we place upon ourselves, that society's expectations, judgments, and the roles that society expects us to play, all those things. What we want people to do in our sessions is to drop those. And your job as a meditation instructor is allow people to relax enough so that they feel safe and secure enough to be able to let some of those go. The other thing that's really important connected to that as well is just to observe rather than engage, and just holding the vision of people whole and healed for them until they can hold it for themselves, but also not being too descriptive around your definition of what healing looks like or the timeline of healing for your clients. This is all about the client leads the way and you just walk alongside them. It's another A Course in Miracles quote that I love as well, that is, if you really knew who walked alongside you, fear would be impossible. And I really truly believe that meditation instructors allow people to feel safe. Good meditation instructors, that's what they do, that's their job. They walk alongside you so that you feel safe enough to become who you always were. It's already there. We just hide it, minimize it, control. We adapt ourselves. And that is everything that I have to say, I think. So the key takeaways for those of you that missed the beginning is, do your due diligence. You do not need to move to Tibet. You do not need to go on silent retreat in Bali, even though that would be quite nice. You don't need to do any of those things if you don't want to, or if it's not available to you, it's not accessible to you. We don't need to do that. We don't need to wait for years. You can start where you are, because your starting point could be greater or far exceed somebody else's finishing point. But if you don't start, you're never going to know. This is such an important time for the world, that we need support. We need people like you. If you feel called to do it, there are no accidents. If you're energetically in this space, you've been called to this space, this container, this Facebook group. If you watch this on the replay, if you're watching it live, whenever it comes to you, if it comes to you through your email inbox, you were meant to see it. There are no accidents. So make sure that you've had enough experience so that you can create relatable analogies, and you can generate that experience during your training course if you train with the right provider, like we do our journaling and our 21-day challenge. Make sure that you are committed to continual professional development, that you don't just say, I'm going to get off now, off the, metaphorically speaking, I'm going to get off the bus now, I've learned enough. Like, we continue to learn, we continue to make sure that our processes, our techniques are up to date and of the highest standard, that we offer and we commit to a reflective practice. We activate our third eye. We surrender to the journey. And what else did I say at the end? We learn to hold space for others. And that's it. So if you have any questions, please do hop along to the Facebook group. That is where I am going to be hanging out for the next 2 weeks. Look out for a timetable of events. I'm really excited, actually. There are so many things coming up. Like I say, guest speakers, free trainings, masterclasses, free classes. There's all sorts. I should have said this at the beginning. I had loads of questions about what these challenges, what you're going to learn. And one of the things was, will this help me attract corporate clients? Absolutely, 100%. Particularly day 2 and day 3 will be really good for you for that. Somebody else said, what did they say? Is this going to help me become a teacher? Obviously, yes. Is this going to qualify you to be a teacher? No, but we're going to put you in the right direction. I'll use this space. There are lots and lots and lots of fully qualified meditation instructors already in the group that can support you. Give us your unique scenarios, give us your unique situations, and we will support you. Our mission is all about us getting as many people as possible started on this journey so that we can just start to introduce this practice to the world. Like I said right at the beginning, you do not need to be a guru. You can just contribute to this conversation as long as you have a mentor, as long as you have safeguarding policies and systems in place. And I can help you with that as well if you need help with what I mean by that. And as long as you are committed to ongoing training and development, you've got this. You can start right now. And that's it. Let me know what you thought. Let me know. I love reading your comments afterwards. I'll try to reply to anyone who I've missed on here. And I will see you very soon. Go and enjoy the sunshine. It's absolutely beautiful. Tomorrow we are back. Oh, I shouldn't do that, should I? My shoulders. Tomorrow we are back talking about how to create a viable business plan. This is something that I see all the time with spiritual entrepreneurs. They forget the financial, they forget the businessy stuff. So it's not too heavy with figures. It's just about making sure that you have a plan in place and a big vision. That's the fun bit. That's the bit that I really like to do. So we're going to be visioning and business planning tomorrow. And then on the 3rd day, this challenge, we are looking at how to niche, why it's important that you do that and how to do it. And then, like I say, for the rest of the 2 weeks, there's lots of other exciting things. So look out for our timetable. So have a beautiful day and I will see you soon.